Hello and welcome. My name is Fiona Whitten and I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in the UK. I live in a town called Wokingham, which is in the county of Berkshire. So today I have a Stamping and Creating with Fiona for you, and I am going to be featuring the Texture Chic suite. So for those of you who have seen my Facebook page yesterday, this was the card that I made on Monday, thanks to Trisha, who's one of one of the acorns, and she talked us through how to make this triangular diagonal fold card. So this is how it all opens up. I've remade one featuring the texture, no D on it, Chic suite. So this is the card that I've made this morning, and then I'm going to show you how to make another one, again using the Texture Chic paper and stamps and things. So quickly just run through what the suite entails. Here we go. So it's a suite that has a stamp set and some coordinating dies, and I'll share those with you in a minute. And there is also some specialty 12 by 12 paper. And then, as I said, the stamp set, there are 17 stamps, and in the dies, which you'll also find on page 166, she says, because I can never remember, I think it's like 19 dies, yes, 19 dies in there. So it's a big die set, it's a big stamp set, and I love it. I was one of those ones I saw when I first saw it. I thought, yes, that's definitely one that's going on my my list, and I have to admit I only actually got around to getting it the other week. So and I have been playing with it, but not that much. So I'm going to show you the paper. So this is the paper. Rather than me sharing the full 12 by 12 sheets, I thought it was a lot easier just to actually show you here. So where all the gold foiling is, that's one side, and then the other triangle below it is the reverse side of the paper. So we have dots and seashells, we have stripes, and then this is kind of like a plank effect but with dots and things on, and then we've got like a checked effect with flowers. And what I like about this is that it's not a full like checked effect. You will see that there are parts missing. It's like a distressed effect, and that's the bit that sort of called me and said, you know, this is something that I would enjoy using. And then this is I like to say that it's snowflakes, because the reverse side has snowflakes on it, but you can't quite tell. But I think that's pretty much what that's supposed to be. Here we have flowers or circles or whatever. You can see all sorts of things in the design because of things that are missing where the distressed part is. And then on the reverse side there is some, and this is the bit that I really, really like. Not quite sure why, but it's sort of like a shabby chic type flowers. And then on here, when you first look at it, you kind of think it's cubes, and then you kind of think it's like crosses or pyramids or all sorts of things. And then the reverse side is leaves and all sorts of other things. So let me just check for 30 seconds. We're not even going to be that I am live, and I want to make sure that I can't hear myself as well, because that would be a lot of feedback. So let's just make sure that I am live. I think I am, which is good. Okay, so that's the paper, and it coordinates with Evening Evergreen, Mango Melody, Petal Pink, Soft Succulent and Soft Suede. It also coordinates with pool party, and of course gold. So there's lots of colours and things that you can play around with this. Hello Linda, how are you? So that's the paper. The stamp set, and it's a photopolymer stamp set, so it means that when you come to stamp you want to be resting on something that has a bit of give. There are 17 actual stamps in here. Now these images are shown at 75%. And it's called a two-step stamping set because you can stamp an image and then overstamp with a different colour depending on what you want to do. And then we've also got some sentiments. So the actual size, as you can see, is slightly bigger. So here's the flower. We have the snowflake, leaves, shell, and then we also have then the bit that you can, as part of the two-step stamping, so we also have that bit that goes with the shell. We have the flowers. This is the other part to the leaf. I've written one for the snowflake though, just so you know, but there are other things. So we have an arch type smear, and then with these are like dots. So we have other effects that can go with it. And then of course we have some sentiments. So we have thanks and thinking of you, love you, wishing you the best birthday, and I'm here for you. So there's all sorts of sentiments that this covers. And it's called Season of Chic simply because it covers really all the seasons. I mean, you can do spring, you can do summer of the beach, you can do autumn with the leaves, you can do snowflakes for winter, and mix and match and do all sorts of things. Now the dies, and these are the dies, they're the Chic dies, and as I said, there are 19 of them. So there is an extra one here, and I'll show you what that looks like all cut out. So I haven't cut everything out. I've cut some leaves, I've cut some flowers, and I've cut this out just to show you and give you ideas of things that you can actually do with it. So this is that large, let's put this back here so you can see it. This piece here is from here. When I first cut it out, I thought it would just be a shape within a piece of cardstock. I didn't realise that the whole thing came out, but I like this. There's all sorts of things you can do, because obviously you don't have to have it that, in all sorts of ways you can put it around. You also don't have to pop out all the bits. So I have another one, which is what I'm going to use on the card, where I've left some of the pieces in. So if you don't feel like sitting there and poking all the bits out, or using your die brush to take them out, then you can leave bits in, and it doesn't matter. You can be all of it. It's really up to you. That's the nice thing about it. So that one I'm going to use. So I'm going to put that to one side. The flowers. First off, I stamped. So the paper, the cardstock, I should say, is Petal Pink. And that one and that one are stamped in Petal Pink over the top. And then that one is stamped in Mango Melody. So this is just simply stamping and cutting out using this particular die. The other dies cut out slightly more intricate flowers. And the one thing that you can do, and I should say, when it comes to lining up your dies with the stamped image, or if you want to overlay, you'll find that there is like one flat side on the image and one flat side, or relatively flat I should say, on the die. So you simply need to line those up to cut them out. Similarly, if you're die cutting one of the intricate shapes, so this one has been die cut using this particular die, and you're looking to overlay it. Again, you have a more straight piece and there's an open gap, and then that then just lies and is glued on top like so. So that's how that works. You can put it on here as well, but I think personally I think you lose more of the detail underneath. So I would, if I'm going to use this, I will certainly be putting it on one where it's either a completely different colour or it's one where you have stamped in a darker colour over the lighter, so that you still get elements of the lighter colour showing through, and then obviously you've then got your die cut on top. These ones I have to admit, worked out just yet exactly whether they layer or whether you just leave them by themselves. I'll let you know on that one. So those are the flowers, and then the leaves, and I kind of gone mad with those. So the leaves, I've just done all sorts of things because I put them on the card that I shared a second ago, and I'll bring that back in a minute. So there are oak leaves. So obviously the first thing you can do is you can stamp and die cut out. Well, you can just stamp and not die cut out. So these ones I've stamped and die cut out. And again, if you want to, you can then, there is a die cut that you can then overlay if you want to, so that you have part of the stamped background showing through. You can, of course, just simply die cut some plain cardstock and then overlay with the intricate die. It's not lining up completely. It does. I just flinned around too much. And then you've got all sorts. You've got the smaller leaves. So you've got one that faces sort of open edges on the left-hand side, and you've got a slightly larger one where the open edge is on the, so that's left on the right. As I said, this is the one that you can overlay either on here. Again, that one, it doesn't work too well on that open one like that, but it obviously, if you're putting it on a piece of card that is a different colour or a different shade, then that works. Those are the same, so you have that one, and then you've got some other leaves. So we have those two, we have this one, that's the same as that one. And then I did some in pink, which are for in a minute. So there's all sorts of things that you can do with the leaves. So really, at the end of the day, there is going to be such a multiple of combinations that you can get that I'm sure someone will at one point actually try all sorts of different combinations and just do a sheet. But at the moment I'm not quite there, so I'll try. I'll see how I go. But anyway, so those are the dies that I have cut out and played with so far, and this is the card that I made. So I have a petal pink base, and I've used the paper that has the check design, and this is the reverse side of it. So I'll show you how to do this in a minute. And then I simply used my Mango Melody ink and stamped on the petal pink and die cut those out. And then just arranged them down the edge. Again, it's really up to you what you want to do. On the one that I made as part of the Acorns event on Monday, I made my focal point much more in the middle, and it's really up to you what you want to do. So obviously this is a completely different colorway as well, but that's just to give you an idea. And I'm going to do something like this one using the Texture Chic paper. So I'm guessing you kind of want to know how to do all this. So let's put all my leaves and flowers to one side so they're there. I don't need the dies at the moment. If I do need to cut something else, I can, because I have my mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine with me. Well, it's on the table next to me, I should say. And I'm going to start. When I was doing this, I was trying to work out which sheet of paper I'm going to use, but I decided I'm going to go with this one. So this is the one that I said that if you look at it one way, it kind of looks like cubes. If you look at it another way and sort of focus your eyes somewhere else, it looks like something completely different. So this is what I'm going to use. And then the reverse side is the one that has all the leaves and things on. So that's what I'm going to use. And then as a result, I am going to use some soft succulent cardstock. So, and I'm going to get my trimmer. And the first part of this is really, really simple. You want to make sure that you've got your cutting blade completely away, because you're going to do 2 score lines. And it's exactly the same principle if you're using letter size cardstock in the States. So what you're going to do is you're going to score the cardstock in half along its length. So cardstock, A4 cardstock is 21 centimetres wide, so you're going to score it at 10.5. Like so. And then you're going to turn it and score on the long side. Again, you're going to be scoring at the halfway point all the way down. So for us in the UK, it's 29.7. So you want to score at like 14.9, 14.85 if you want to be precise. And make sure you've got some really good score lines. So we've now got 4 panels on the cardstock, dissect, and they're basically created by having 2 score lines. So the first thing we want to do is we're going to turn the cardstock over. And the reason I'm saying that is because I like to use this so that this card will fold with the indent at the top, and it folds in. But I need to cut out the top as you look at it. So I scored on the other side and turned it over. So my score line, basically, this is the hump, the bit, the indent. So you can see this is the bit that's coming through. Now I want to cut just the other side of the score line, because we don't want the score line to stop the card from folding, especially when it comes to the fact that you're going to have a double fold. So I'm using my trimmer and I'm using my blade, which has 2 notches, and I'm lining up the notches with the score line that goes across. And I'm just literally going to go from that score line all the way to the top. And then I'm going to do exactly the same again. And this time we're going to go from the point in the middle, like so. So I've got 1 whole piece that I have taken out, and here you can see the score line. So what it means is that when that gets folded over and that gets folded over, this piece here is not going to hinder that piece being folded over. Now we've got a couple more bits to cut. what we now want to do is we want to do the diagonal cuts. So with your card open, and the whole of the bottom is complete, and you have this panel here, so it's like a reverse L. You're going to cut from that top left corner down to where the score line is on the right hand edge. So you're going to cut here on a diagonal. So I've found that the easiest thing to do is to try and get your score line here in the middle. And if you use this groove here, hopefully you can see it, you probably can't actually. So I'm using this big space here that I'm pushing my point into that, and then I am lining up both the point so that it's in the middle of that track, and this so that it's in the middle of the track. Now you don't want to be cutting from here down because you'll squish your point. So if you cut from this outside edge up, it'll work a lot better. So I've got a nice clean diagonal. And now the other thing that you want to do is you're going to cut a diagonal again, but this time from the center point down to the bottom left. So if you fold this out the way, like so, again, sorry, I'm going to move my trimmer up. Line up your point with the middle of this track here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see, let's go this way. So line up with the middle of the track here and line where your score line is in the middle of the track there. Like that. Again, don't start at the point. Start up here and cut all the way down. Oops. So you now should have a piece of cardstock that looks like this. And you'll also have 3 bits that are not needed for the card, but these are good then for cutting out all your bits and pieces to go on the card. So don't throw them away, just keep them. So we now have all our folds. So the card will look like this. You need to have a bone folder and make sure that everything is burnished really well. So I'm going to do this one first, and then I'm going to do this one. Now it's up to you whether you want to have your card folding like this, so you have the top flap down and then the side flap over, or the reverse, so you have the side flap going over first and then the top flap. Either way, the card will stand up because you have effectively 2 whole edges. It just depends on how you want things to look. So this one, I have the top flap going down and then the side going over. Whereas the other one, I have the top flap going down. And I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my top flap coming down this time. I've got a bit here that's quite right. Okay. So that's sort of your basic. And then we're going to cut your paper to decorate. Now, I like both sides of my paper, so I'm not worried about having to get a second piece. If you like one piece and then you have to go and find a second piece that you do like, first do so, and then what you're going to do is you're going to cut at 9.5 centimetres across. Let's go back down again. So I'm just lining it up with 9.5 centimetres. by 13.9 centimetres. So this would normally be your second layer of your card front, because normally you would have your card front will be 10.5 by 14.9, and then you decrease per layer. So the next layer, the first layer would then be 10 by 14.4, and then the next layer will be 9.5 by 13.9. Now I want this piece to be on the top, to go here on this piece. So I am going to cut from the top right to the bottom left. If I wanted this piece to look on here on the bottom, then I would cut it from left to right. But I actually want it on this piece. So I'm going to cut it from my top right to my bottom left. Again, I'm getting the points in the groove. Now, you don't, as I said before, you don't want to hit the points first off with your blade. So if you start in the middle and then just simply go up and then come back down, and that will cut your paper perfectly. Now, sometimes this paper goes a little bit fuzzy, so you can just take a pair of paper snips, or simply, if you have one of these erasers for glue, that works just as well. Stampin' Up used to carry those, but they don't anymore. So this is my front. So this is going to get glued onto here. Let's find my glue. Time-old problem of the glue drying up. Let's see, let's try a different one. Let's see if this is any better. I know there's glue in it because I was using it earlier. So here we go. So you just want to put some glue around the edge and a little squiggle in the middle. And then you're going to line it up so that there is an equal border around, like so. Now again, you can use your eraser to take off those fluffy edges. So that's that one piece, and then because I like this reverse side of this, when I simply turn it over, it will fit perfectly. And again, I need to take off these edges. And I'm not too worried about it looking a bit distressed. I think that's just the very nature of this paper. So I'm going to glue this one on. Like so. So you can see some of the leaves. And again, you want to sort of get an even border. So that's how my card's going to look. And then we need to sort out a card to go on the inside. A piece of cardstock, I should say, to go on the inside. And I'm going to use some basic white. So I need to cut a piece of basic white that would be 0.5 centimetre narrower and 1/2 centimetre shorter than what the inside of the card base is, so I need to cut it at 14.4 by 10, and that will leave me a nice border to go on the inside. Now before you glue this in, you would want to decorate, and you can put some more paper down the edge, you can stamp, whatever it is that you want to do. I'm going to just simply use a centimetre strip of the paper, so I'm just simply going to cut 1 centimetre length, going to keep it with the foil side up. So I'm simply going to glue this on here like that, and then I'll just snip the end off. If you start to hear a lot of dog barking, it's because someone's come home, and the dog always reacts to people on the driveway. Right, let's try this one. Let's put that one completely out of the way so I'm not tempted to use it again. So I'm going to glue that on like so. Paper snips, cut that bit off like that, just maybe trim that little bit of fuzzy bit off, and then I'm going to glue that inside the card. So that can just go in here like so. Something's a bit of glue there. There we go. So that's my base card done. So really all I now have to do is decorate it. And decorating is, I don't know, it always seems to be the one thing that takes the longest to do. So I'm going to use this piece, and then I'm going to add things to it. Now, bear in mind that when you come to fix this to your card front, you only want to fix it to whichever piece is on the top. So if I was going to fold my card like that, I would need to fix this to this piece here, and making sure that it didn't stick here or here, because that would be a bit of a disaster. The benefit of actually not taking everything out of here is that it does give you an area that you can glue easily. But as I said, I want mine that way. But that's, oh, told you about the barking dog. Don't know if you can hear him, little so-and-so. Right, so I'm going to glue this onto here. I could put dimensionals underneath, but the problem being that I can't get dimensionals underneath here. So if I wanted to put anything on here, it's not going to be supported. So this is just going to simply sag. So it's a lot easier just to simply glue it on, and obviously when that gets raised up, it will be, will go with it. So that is what I'm going to do. Now, how much, and just kind of judge how much I need to put on now. And this needs to, I want to have it sort of fairly central on the card. So I need to make sure that I can go diagonal from there to there. And then if you want to put some extra glue on, just little dots would be ideal. You don't need to put long. Dabs of it. Let's see now, do I go here? Maybe there. Okay. Might just turn that over for a second. And I hope that it will dry quickly. Oh good, and it hasn't glued anything else down, so that's the first good sign. Now we have the leaves here, so I've already pre-die cut some of the petal pink leaves. I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do anything too over the top, she says. She's already got 3 on there. And I want to put a sentiment on there as well. But it doesn't want, I don't want it to be a huge thing. So I think I'm going to use the wishing you the best birthday ever, simply because it's something that I can then die cut out and adhere on. Sorry, we're about to have a dog making noises at me because he wants to be picked up. So find a block like that, and I need my mat. Now I could stamp this onto, let's see. This is Pool Party, Petal Pink, and then that's Soft Succulent. So I think I might use a piece of Scrap Pool Party. And then simply, let's see what colour, I can actually stamp it in soft suede. That would work. I'm just checking on the dog because he's disappeared and I don't know where he's gone. Oh, I can hear him. So I'm going for soft suede because it's a good dark colour that will stand out on the Pool Party. Like that. And then I'm going to use the Stylish Shape dies. These are the new set, and these are definitely going to be my, and are really, I should say, not going to be, they are my go-to set now. They have, it's not, I wouldn't say it was stitching, it's kind of more dots, indents. So I'm going to use that to cut that out. So I'm going to bring in my mini cut and emboss machine. And because I am die cutting, it tells you on there what you need. So for die cutting, you need plate 1 and 2 of the plate 2s. Mine are kind of scratched, but that's okay. So put the first one on. Now, if you don't feel confident about things staying in place, we don't have magnetic plate yet for the mini, but there is a new one now for the larger, for the standard size Stampin' cut and emboss machine. The one for this machine is on its way, we believe. It will be out, I don't know, can't really predict, sadly, because obviously when they are ready with it, then they've got to get it to us, which is another issue. Let's turn that around so I can actually reach the handle, and I'm just going to run that through the machine. we go. Sorry for everything shaking. Oops. And that's all the die cutting I'm going to do today. So it leaves little indents on the piece that the item's been cut out of, and then obviously on the actual. That's it. Ooh. And on the actual circle for the sentiment. So I'm going to put that on here. Now I could go mad and actually put that on top of a larger one or a different colour. So I could introduce soft suede and make it a slightly larger one, but I don't have any soft suede here. I don't know where it's gone. I thought I had some. Or I could do it on white, but or some soft succulent, which I don't, not soft succulent, evening evergreen, but I don't have that, so I don't want to start introducing too many colours. So that's going to go on here. I've got my leaves, and I do like the pink ones. They're a little bit different on there. I could add other things. I've got more leaves here if I wanted to, but I actually quite like it with just those three on there. So first off, I'm going to put this on, and again I want to make sure that I only put my piece, my dimensionals on this portion. So if I open the card up, hopefully it shouldn't cause any problems. And my dimensionals, which were here, yes, found them. Right, so I put the first one, let's see, put the first one on there for that. Put the second one on just slightly above, I think. And I can probably squeeze a third one on here. You don't want to go too mad, but at the same time you don't want the thing falling off. So I'm going to put that on here. Let's open that up and make sure that kind of looks, it's kind of first off straight and sort of roughly in the middle, which it is. And then I'm going to use glue dots, I think, for the other ones. So that's going to tuck under. Now if you find that it's sticking out too much, and because you've got all those dimensionals in, then just simply cut a piece off. You don't need to be, you know, if it needs to have something cut off, then that's what it needs. Now let's see if I can tuck that in far enough. Probably not. So let's just take a bit of this off. You're not going to see the stem, so taking that bit off is fine. There we go. That's one. Again, I'm going to take the stem off. If you can't see it, it doesn't matter. Oops. Put him underneath. And then he's a slightly different one. But I still think I'm going to take a bit off, so I'm going to take off that whole bottom there. I know some people prefer to do it the other way around and to simply place your leaves on and then put your sentiment or whatever on the top. I don't know, it doesn't seem to work for me. So I prefer to do it this way. And so there we go. So I think that is it. And I could add some gemstones or something. Not quite sure what. Look at the rummage, see what I've got in my in all my embellishments. I don't think we're going to need rhinestones somehow. I've got some brass butterflies, but I'm not sure about those either. What's these? Glossy dots? No, they're just a bit too bright, I think. So, not quite right. Maybe I'll put some of these white ones on. So these are the classic matte dots that you'll find in the annual catalogue. I'm just going to use some white ones. I'm only going to use the little ones. I'm going to use my Texture Chic tool. In particular, the putty end. So that's good for getting hold of these. I'm just going to put them on here. You might not be able to see them too well, but you know what? I know they're here. And again, I want to make sure that I'm keeping it not on an area where it's not going to stick down, unless there is a large area that you know it's going to fit and it's not going to matter too much. So, I mean, I might put one like here. This is where the junction of two bits, so you can't actually see it from the reverse side. Let's see, that one, these are, yeah, as I said, I'm just going to stick to the small bits. Put one on here. And again, you can go completely nuts with these. This side I'm not too worried about. I think it might need one. Let's see. Shall I be brave? And go there. Right. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh dear, 6. Can't do that. Got to put another one on then. There. So that is my finished card. I'll need to do my envelope. And I might just mess around with these a bit more just to move them slightly. But so here's my Texture Chic card. And thanks to Trisha for sharing how to make this fold, the fun fold on Monday, say at the Acorns. So this is my finished card. This Facebook Live will be posted back on Facebook shortly, and it'll also go up on YouTube later when I get a chance to take photographs and everything. And obviously I will post a photograph of this too on Facebook and things. Other things to tell you about, let's see, oh yes, it's nearly the end of the month. God, I can't believe that. So nearly the end of the month. So that means that the current joining offer, where you get an extra £62.50 worth of in colour kit, will be ending on the 31st of May. And well, that's really is for the Stampin' Up news. There's other things coming along soon, but which I'm still waiting for details. Details of June's class will go up in by the end of the week, so that you'll find that on my Facebook page and also up on my blog and in the newsletter this coming weekend. So for now, take care, and I'll see you next week for a virtual card and a cuppa. Bye.